it's been a hot minute since we've talked about My Hero really on the channel. I think the last actual time that I talked about My Hero without talking about catching up to season 3 as probably, I'd like to say, the first episode of season 3, alongside with covering the gentle stuff with LeBlave and all of those people, I'd say about 3 months ago or so. So definitely, with some of the stuff that's been happening with My Hero, I recently caught back up with the manga. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch the anime and let me see what it is building on a couple of chapters on there. And I think it's right about here would be a pretty good time to kind of jump back on there, because Endeavor has really been trying to turn himself around from being the world's worst father and biggest douchebag and husband, and now with this chapter and with a lot of people predicting with where this character is going, especially who showed himself up at the end of this chapter, I think this could really show the downfall of just when Endeavor finally has his big debut as the #1 hero. Everything all comes tumbling down after we see what he did to Nomu, and especially with Dabi being involved now in this fight. So we did have a little bit of a week break as well. I actually didn't want to talk about last week, but I was like, oh, never mind, there's no chapter this week. And I was like, I guess we're just going to have to wait for next week. And honestly, one thing that's with this introduction of Endeavor being the #1 hero, we've got an introduction of a lot of interesting characters to me. Hawks is a very interesting new addition to the roster, because he's the #2 hero and how he's been acting, whereas he's been very supportive of Endeavor, and it's clear that he might have an ulterior motive or something, and with how he's using it, and plus the fact of how he's acting with his powers and everything, and how he's been using it, is he kind of really does come off as that kind of person where it's I don't mind being the #2 for the rest of my life, and it's he kind of sees a little bit of a relation to him and Endeavor in a sort of way, but he's I am just fine, I am comfortable with where I am, my powers, they're useful, I get money, I get power, I get all this stuff that I want on there, but I just don't want to be #1, I don't want to have responsibilities. But he sees a little bit of himself with Endeavor, with kind of how he's acting on there. There was one interesting part in this chapter where he's just how he's talking to him. He's you're the way up there, you can fire without holding anything back, when he's using his old technique, and he's just you really are just like me and all that, from the past, or perhaps maybe an alternate future or something, all that. And he's just it's weird how he's talking about it. It's clearly I would like to know more about this character, since we've seen really anything of him yet. He's a brand new character, and seeing what he can do with his feathers and his abilities, and how it wasn't Endeavor's win for this. This was both him and Hawks supporting him, because Endeavor couldn't release his full power against this this Nomu, this special just ultimate creature that they've been working on, this high grade Nomu, because of the fact that it's if he used it closer to the ground, he wouldn't be able to, because the civilians are there, people, buildings are there. He can't destroy any of that stuff around him, and you see him punching through it. It's the regeneration just is keeping up with him trying to incinerate it, and his plan was I need to rely on Hawks right now, because we've already seen this thing is blasted and chunk of his face off. We've seen this thing ripping him to shreds. The #1, the idol #1 hero, is already being pretty much shattered. It isn't going to be this daring rescue. It isn't going to be a bloodless battle. We've already seen that. It's this is the fact that the villains aren't joking around anymore, and they've seemingly perfected Nomus, or they've thoroughly enhanced them to the point where it's if this is what one of the highest grade possible Nomus can do, if they can mass produce something of that level and times it by even just having just 10 of those things around would just be a horrifying scenario, because we're seeing that it's taking the top 2 just to take down one of these things. How many is it going to take for the rest of the heroes? We need to find out more of its weakness on there, as everyone's cheering on, screaming for them to win, as he does he's I'm gonna do the thing I hate all them most and all that. doing the plus ultra like thing, that throw a moment at home and all that, and it's like prominence burn as he like pretty much he is a meteor at this point as he crashes it down, locks it, and burns it to the ground. Like you see there is chars. Like it is, the body is charred. Like there is, you're not gonna, like you're hopefully not going to regenerate out of that, where it's like you've just burned every single cell into ash. And with that, it's like everyone is right. Like you get to see like Todoroki and like also like his sister and his older brother there. And when we see like Endeavor, who is there raising his fist, however he's not doing it with like how All Might did it though. He's doing it the other way. Is his own way of like telling everyone like not to give up hope. It's like the hero needs to rise. But you notice as well, his other arm is fucked. Like it is charred. It is messed up. Like he has completely ruined his body. And like even as well when he's like holding down his face as well, and it's just like his eye is just like, and there was an interesting moment where you see Todoroki like there just like he's there like praying, like he's like there like just on his kind of squatting a little bit, just like, oh my god, thank god, like thank god everything just went all right. Like the relationship between Todoroki and Endeavor has been kind of gone for like, they're interesting, especially when they were getting their licenses and all that, and when like him and Bakugo had to retake them, and he had that little speech and all that with like especially with All Might. I even mentioned as well, like when I went back with all those chapters ago, I liked how they were developing, and especially how Endeavor was talking to All Might and saying like, what is like the symbol of peace, like what is it, and he's like, he's found his answer to it for the most part. And like you had this nice moment of Hawks and Endeavor like just like kind of like carrying each other like that, and it's just like, he's like, oh yeah, here's a towel by the way, here's like, you know, your face and like half your lip is messed up and everything and all that, but it's like he's even like saying like, I give myself a 0, that was a bad start and all that. It's just and even Hawks is like, but nah, with this though, like this is gonna be huge, this is definitely gonna be huge and all that, don't worry about that. It's like, and when all things just go lovely and well, then Darby appears. He is there, walking in front of him, smiling, and he's like, we better get things in order, huh? Well, it's nice to meet you, Endeavor, like that. So, why is this a big deal? Because a lot of people have been guessing for a while, and then even as well with like kind of how they're like hinting, and there was like a very early hint with like how they talked as well with the kids as well. And I remember that chapter, and I was like, wait, did they mention that there was another kid? And the only other kid that we've seen around that's used for like a power very relatable, and they've been kind of talking where they don't want to talk about his powers yet, like, and that's been Darby. Like all we know about Darby for the most part is that he has blue flames, and like who else have we really seen on there? It's Todoroki, and I'm pretty sure that both of the like Todoroki and like from what I know for the most part on there, like Todoroki hasn't really confronted this guy, but a lot of people are saying this is like the eldest son. This is like, if not, this is a son, like this is a previous kid that he had. Like this is where like kind of people are going for, and this might be like, this is what Todoroki could have become, like due to the fact it's like, if Todoroki went even through the darker side of kind of what Endeavor, and this is like what happened. This is what happens when Endeavor pushes someone too far, and you get someone like Darby, and like a lot of the things is like, well, we wouldn't be able to recognize him because of, you know, how his face is and all that, like it's all stitched up and messed up and everything. So it's like, that's where people are going right now and on that. And I was like, definitely like looking back at the chapter and on that, how they were acting, and it's like, so where the hell did they think he went then? Like, I'm kind of curious, seeing like, what did the mother think, the sister and the other brother, and like Todoroki, did they just think like one of their kids was dead, like on there? So we'll see if that actually adds up to something on there, but it's definitely not a coincidence of the fact that like Endeavor, because even the fact that it's like he doesn't have to fight him right now, like all he has to do is just say that I am your son, like in front of everyone, and I'm a villain, already shattering the hero piece. Because it's like, oh, the hero piece has got baggage, like immediately, where it's like he isn't this perfect symbol of peace, because look, he already failed once, and he's let someone that's caused numerous amounts of life. Like Darby is a murderer, Darby is a killer. We've seen him in action, like we've seen him kill people, and it's like this this is not going to work either way. It's like, because you have the option of like, Hawks is injured, he's pretty fucked up, Endeavor's can barely move, like, so what the hell are they going to do against someone like that? Like, this is still, like, this is either a publicity stunt for them, or it's like this, that second of morale that they just had, it is already gone, because guess what is standing all around them? Cameras, like, the public media is all around them, so is another. That's what I like about Academia. Like, this is something like, especially that was done really well when it came to All for One, like, and like All Might, like that, like this kind of thing. Like, what I like about it is like how like they always use the publicity, and they always use like how the world reacts to a lot of the heroes, because that's how they're supposed to. Like, they're like, you see that how media will try and twist things, that they'll try and push. Like, is Endeavor a horrible person? Yeah, well, I think generally Endeavor is a horrible person. He has been trying, though, to save people, to try and make it up, but the fact of the matter is like, what he did to his wife, what he did to, like, his son, like, and like, the other kids probably didn't get out that easy either, and it's just like, now it's all coming to bite him in the ass. The second that he finally gets kind of what he wanted. It's not the way how he wanted to be the #1 hero, but it's like, this is your moment to shine, and it's like, half your face is fucked. Your career is probably going to be ruined because of this. Like, there is damage everywhere, and you won't be able to stop this villain, and the fact that this could relate up to being a child of yours as well, like, it could just explode on that. Like, I'm very interested. I've always liked Darby as a villain. Like, he was always one of the more interesting kind of like designs when they first appeared out of the Vanguard squad, so I want to see exactly what Darby's got in mind. It's just like, kind of like showing his body. It's like, this is what, because of what you did and all that, this is what's happened to my body, or something like that. Like, or maybe we'll get rid of like what happened to like his messed up body and all that. So I'm very curious about that with all the piercings and everything. So we'll wait and see and all that when that the time comes. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, what exactly you think about this chapter and where this could potentially be going. I mean, definitely want to come back with like talking about Academia again. Probably may not do it for the anime. I might talk about the new opening on there, but I definitely learned that it's like, I way prefer marathoning Academia all the way when it comes to like with the anime especially and all that. Manga wise, I can only go like weekly with it on there. I definitely enjoyed when I was marathoning some of the stuff on there, but we'll wait and see. But that's all for me. Thanks always for watching, and I'll see you guys though next time.